Hello everyone, Thomas Ronhaar and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we are here for PSGL Round 2 at Abu Dhabi.
Behind you, Ferrari is well on
If you haven't seen the
Alpha.
latest video of PSGL, make sure to check in the description
Sorry?
down below
Yes, and
of
also
the opening round of the
Tomato
season.
under Alpha.
As you
So
can hear some
again, thank you.
chatting with my
On
engineer
Alpha.
Sebastian Bobek, who was my engineer as well for the esports season.
I
And
hope not season, not because otherwise it will
yeah,
get
heading into
No,
this
no,
race,
it's only
feeling very confident. As you can see, Otto Lawrence passes us on his
Are you
debut
sure
race.
Jake isn't on the live?
And
in which team he is?
so yeah,
Mercedes?
looking to do our best job
Yes,
possible to
I'm sure.
get the best result possible, obviously. And yeah, knowing from practice, I was probably gonna get a very good result. Pacing quality especially looked magnificently strong. So yeah, I knew going to qualifying that the chance of getting pole was bigger than last
Good
week,
luck.
definitely.
But
And as you can say, wishing each other good luck. Toast, appreciate it. And yeah, as you can see, it's my first set of 22-7 in Q1, which is not a bad bank at all. This is pretty solid. As you can hear, just want to get confirmation
sorry?
about the rebel behind.
Oh, shit. Team? Oh, shit. I don't know, because I don't the name.
As you can hear, we were quite a bit confused about the people behind us on laps because we didn't have any info about the drivers, so it was kind of hard to judge who was on lap who wasn't. But anyway, moving on to our first lap in Q1. Looking to only do one lap. Obviously, that's a more efficient way to get the better result eventually in Q2 and Q3, which are the most important parts of qualifying, obviously. But of course, in Q1 you have to put a time on the board, otherwise you have to go out again, and the pressure will be extremely high. As you can see, I've been not getting the best of lines, not getting the better exits as well. So this all lap has been kinda, it's been okay, but it could have been a lot better. I can see Byborn with a 22.635, and we'll look at the bit obviously using all of the curb on the entry coming into the chicane sector 2, nailing the apex, getting the traction down pretty nicely, opening up the DRS, and then coming very slowly onto the second sector split, staying tight to minimize the distance, doing a 52.50 split, which was very strong. And but now entering the part of the track where we were just so strong, whole qualifying long, as you'll find out in the later part of qualifying. That we were just a tenth clear pretty much of the rest in this part of the section. We were just so confident. We just could just literally just flick the steering wheel and the car will stick. We nailed the setup for the last sector. And coming across the line, getting a bit screwed on the exit, but it's a 22.469, which actually is only a few hundreds of our Q1 time in F1 esports. And that lap would have been by far enough to get us through into Q1 in F1 esports as well. As you can see, 10th and half clear of the rest, Rubodrinho and then Acapena in P2, P3, Byron dropped to P4. He didn't went out again, he thought it was enough, which was the case indeed. So yeah, unfortunately Matthias Van Erven, I think he just about made it through, I'm not too sure. Um, so yeah, good start of qualifying. As we now move on to the second part of qualifying. Heading out for our first round one, the used tires right now that we used in Q1, so we're just looking to try and put at least a valid lap time on the board. I don't really mind if it's a slow time, just want to have a reference for later on this part of qualifying. As you can see, Tommy Price does a 23.3, we do a 23.0. Daniel Preston behind us a 23.1 I believe, and then Carrollton only,
Back.
I think it's a few
Okay.
thousand behind us. So good start of Q2, obviously your tyres, so it doesn't really matter too much because you're not going to get through this time. Um, moving on to hopefully our only lap in Q2. As you can see, we're over a 10th up now, heading into our second sector split. Doing a 1.8 first, which is pretty good actually for Q2. So gaining this part much better than last time around in Q1. And yeah, looking to be aiming for a low 22. That's a very ideal lap time for the session. Looking for a point 0.3 maybe, point 0.4. See Tommy Price does a point 0.58, which is not bad at all. As my fastest goes to P2 with a 22.6. Alvaro Garrett goes faster with 22.54. And the times are just fumbling down. Barry Warman that goes faster now with 22.411, which is most likely going to be through. Second sector split we do 52.34, and we need a half second up now, which if we don't improve any more for that time, we're going to be doing a 0.5, but as you can see we're just gaining and gaining and gaining time. 6 turns up now, 6.5 turns up now, we're just gaining and gaining every time. So heading into the last corner now, 7 turns up, getting a bit loose in the exit, but it's a 22.29, which is, I was surprised actually that people were so far clear. And as you can see, Otis in his debut race goes second fastest in Q2. So yeah, not a bad at all. As you can see, Barry Bourne went on again and improved, but it was enough to get us through. Now moving on to our second part, or the first lap in Q3, I should say. Getting turn one bit squarely on the apex, so not a great start of the lap. Could have been a bit better, but getting this part pretty good. So it's been an okay first set, as you can see, a 1-8, and once again, see Otis Lawrence goes a provisional ball 22-3. We go deep, and that definitely cost us at least a tenth of a second there.
Yeah, what was that apex?
As you can see, we're not happy with that apex. That might cost a professional pole here, so we need to fully send it in the second part of the lap. Otherwise, it's just not going to be enough. But as you can see, we're just nailing the traction here. The freedom was made up for all the time we've just lost. And let's see if we can match our second set in Q2, which was a 52.34. We actually can't. It's a 52.38. But as you'll see, at the end of this lap, you were just so fast in the first sector. And we were just gaining so much. We can see the car is just planted to the ground. Absolutely flying in this last part of the lap. You can see a bit loose here. So it's not been a great lap. It's been curly all the way around. But as you'll see coming across the line now, it is still enough to do a 22.175, which
Awful banker, man.
I
Almost
thought
honestly.
was a very bad banker, because there's definitely at least a 10 minutes in the hairpin at least, and maybe also 10 in the last sector. So we knew going to the last round that we had to fully send it, otherwise it was probably gonna drop to P5 or P6 even. So we had to fully send it, maximum grip available now, and we're just gonna absolutely fully send it in this last lap. As you can see, getting to turn 1, getting the power down a bit better, but still matching our delta. But as you can see, we're just getting a bit better line, and we're gaining those extra few thousand of a second. And as you can see in the first sector, doing a 17.164, excuse me, and yeah, as you can see, we improved by over a tenth of a second there. So going into the chicane, we were 10th up, and I knew it was going to be a pretty good lap. We could just keep it together. So braking very late, braking nearly at the 100-meter board, gaining 60,000 of a second, and gaining another 200 on the exit. And we're nearly 2 tenths up. And Luke Smith goes to professional pole with a 0.15. So that's a very good lap from Luke Smith. As you can see, we're 7 to nearly 800 up on Luke Smith. But we haven't even got to the first sector. It was our strongest sector by far. And as you can see, if we continue this up, we're all for a 21, which is gonna be very close to my PB. As you can see, we're absolutely sending it right now. 2.3 turns up, 2.4 turns up. Getting into the last corner now, we brake a tiny bit too early, clumping the curb a bit too much, but across the line.
Let's fucking go, man! What a lap! Oh, yes!
21.940, which is, yeah, I'm extremely happy with that lap. As you can see, 10th and a half clear of Barry Borman in P2. Otis Lawrence's debut is P3 for qualifying, but as you'll see in the race, he had some issues with some stuff in the race, which I'm about to show you right now. Luke Smith P4, John Evans P5, Jake Biden P6, Walls on P7, Dominic P8, Tom Manley P9, and Danny Resnick rounding out the top 10. So, heading into the race now, as you can see, starting on a hard tires, as always, pretty much hard medium will be the strategy. So, yeah, starting the race now, 5 red lights are coming on right now, and away we go now. Short shifting to minimize the wheel spin. We're getting a very strong start. As you can see, clear on Barry Borman. So looking to get him rhythm ASAP, because otherwise we can't really get hold on to the lead. As you can see, the gap is 4 turns, so I was just chilled at this moment. Looking to try and obviously create a bit of a gap to the car behind. So we can maybe have a bit of breathing space. But as you can see, Barry Worm is so fast on the straight that I just can't pull away. And this has been the issue a whole race long. I just could not keep up the McLaren behind me on the straights, which proves to be crucial. As you can see, we're getting wheel spin, and Barry Worm saw that, and he's gonna go on the overtake now. As you can see, closing the gap ever so slightly, 1.5 tenths, 1.2 tenths, getting alongside us. But we were ahead going to braking, so we stay ahead for now. And yeah, looking to try and hold to the lead as long as possible. Obviously, track position around here is key. But obviously, when you have Bioborn behind you, it's gonna be really tough to keep the lead. Top 5, I believe, hasn't changed apart from Jake getting up to P4. I think. Yeah, obviously Otis lost out many positions because he didn't know the race was already starting. So he had to alt tab, and when he got back into it, he got damaged unfortunately. So Otis is most likely going to be out of this race, and which is very lucky for him. But he has many opportunities to come still. So yep, back to our race now. Gap behind is 6 tenths. To Barry as you can see, again just gaining on the straight. Did you can hear me as what happens with Otis?
Wait, I will check, okay?
Yeah, he blew off. He's in the
Shimata is saying
okay.
he didn't know what was happening.
Just check the main stream. They left all the mails.
As you can hear, once again something else is going on with my engineer, because we didn't have much telemetry to use in WR, and PSGL actually. Danny Bresnik goes up to P5 now, overtaking John Evans on the medium tyres. So he's looking to do what I did in F1 esports, which is to start on the mediums and try and create a gap, and eventually be on a better race tyre in the end. But if you're in the midfield starting on the mediums, it's probably not going to work because it's just a DRS train, and the DRS is way too big on the truck. Heading into what was lap 3 now, setting the fast lap of the race, which is a 26.647, which is pretty nice for the second lap. Still having pretty much a full battery. Moving on towards lap 8, Barry Borman, as you can see, 110 behind us, so he's managed to close the gap ever so slightly, getting a bit loose on the exit and getting our first warning of this race. Barry Borman sees the mistake and tries to go for a move right outside, and I just thought, alright, let's just let him go for now and get him later this race, because the pace we had through the corners was more than enough to keep out the McLaren ahead of us. And because of the switch from the DRS, we can quite easily stay with him. As Ismail Fassi leave the session, I believe he was involved in an incident down the midfield somewhere with, I think it was an AI car. Not too sure though, but yep, just very unlucky. Looking obviously to try and stay with Barry, as he tries to create a bit of a gap like I did. It's up to half a second now, and as you can see, Daniel Bresnay in P5 still hasn't made up any positions from pretty much the beginning of the race. So that goes to show that the mediums is not a particularly great tyre around here. And moving on all the way to lap 14, manages to get the gap to Barry 1 quite nicely. But as you'll see in a few seconds time, Max Wilson retires on the main straight, and that triggers a safety car.
Yep.
I thought that ruined my whole race.
Well, Will's
'Cause,
was in place, so you might get free praise.
I thought
I'm
because
fucked as
of
well.
this safety car that
You're parted out in the field, you won't get out to both.
the strategy was to stay out longer than Barry. To have fresh tires towards the end. But
Yeah,
obviously
I
we
got
have
one
to pit
warning
now.
for losing the car in turn 3. Do I get that removed, you reckon?
As you can see, my tires had
I
a
don't
few
know.
issues with some warnings, and they got a penalty for that.
Who gives a shit, actually.
But
I
as you
already
can
have
see,
warnings, so
getting a bit mad.
if they remove your one, it will be good.
So yeah, we have to board this lap obviously, otherwise it's gonna be game over. So
I won't talk during the
um,
now. Just
so
hi.
everyone has to pit,
Yo.
and
Come on, you're streaming.
Yes.
as you can hear, Kyle I think also joined in the call, just saying
Yes,
hi to the wish best of luck for the second stint,
I saw the safety car, so was
and
good. Was good. Good
Yeah,
call.
so box.
so he mentioned it say box, and everyone in this field is probably gonna box, otherwise it's gonna be yeah, you're gonna be a victim towards the end of the race if you stay out.
Do we need to stay out to help Thomas, or not?
As you can hear me say, my teammates
Get my
Huh?
price.
tries to
You can still
stay
remove
out.
it.
As I nearly
can
get
still
overtaken a
remove
bit
it,
actually
so.
by Luke Smith. And obviously gonna put the medium tires on towards the end of the stint. Getting the turning point to purple, as always, pretty easy to do if you could just know what the reference is. Heading out the pit lane now, just trying to not
Wait,
use
why
our
am I
tires at
soft?
all.
Oh,
As you can hear my
You don't
teammates
call
say,
chaos nowadays.
my tires on soft.
What?
And that is an unfortunate glitch in this game.
Oh, I put it on fucking mediums.
There's been a glitch in this game
Fuck this
where
game.
if you select new
Fuck
strategy,
this game.
it goes to softs, and yeah, that's why I put in my
What the
tires,
fucking
and yeah, as you can see, getting a bit mad as always, but obviously we can't do anything about it now, and yep, focusing out to our own race now. Safety car is going to be in this lap, um, probably going to be going at the end of the first sector towards the last corner. Needed to warm my tires. As you can see, you can just about see my temperature of the tire. Obviously, I'm trying to hide the rest of the setup that you can probably see. Um, Looking to have at least 82 degrees on our rears, but we just can't get any temps to our tires because Barry Borman is going so slowly that we just can't get any temps in our tires. And off the exit here, Barry Borman still doesn't go. I'm trying to hold back, but yeah, needing to weave again to warm those tires, and yeah, going to the beginning of lap 17, we have to go on the track straight away because I want to get the lead back as soon as possible, and I knew my face on the medium was probably a tiny bit better than the hards, so as you can see the tires are now nicely warmed up, 86 degrees, and yeah, gonna go onto the attack straight away. I think Barry wasn't gonna fight me, so making use the maximum of the slipstream, pulling alongside. But as you can see, we're not gaining. We're actually losing time right now on the straight. But going down the inside now and making our way up into the lead of this race. And yeah, we're just looking to try and hold to this lead as long as possible. And yeah, Bayer Borman tries to go for another overtake here. Um, but we decide to defend the inside line completely, and he can't obviously overtake around the outside. So restart went pretty much as I wanted to be. Want to be leading towards the beginning of lap 18, which I managed to do. As you can see, we are actually pulling away slightly to Barry a tenth or so in this last sector, maybe 2/10. But it was going to be pretty much impossible to break his ears. Gap actually went up to 6/10 at some point right here, and yeah, my pay wasn't too bad. It was actually pretty good, and I was pretty solid about my pace pretty much throughout the whole race. Um, but throughout the stint, it was just going to be managing my ERAs, managing my tires, and it was gonna be a boring last 10 laps pretty much. And you'll find out how far we are gonna skip into this race in a moment. As you can see, moving on 10 laps to the penultimate lap of this race, ERA stays pretty much the same. Obviously the tires right now are pretty old. But as you can see, Barry Borum actually goes for an attack on us. Trying to use a bit of ERS, but not too much. As you can see, Barry Borum goes up the inside right now. I won't obviously to get the switchback on him, but Luke and Jake are fighting behind me, and I just can't go for the switchback. So have to stick right now to where I am. Using overtake for no reason somehow. I don't know why I did that, but that was all fair and square. But yeah, we're heading to the final lap now of this race, and I need to stay as close as possible to Barry Borman if I want to have any chance of overtaking him. As you can see, we're getting fairly close. As you can see, we get a second warning, and I knew this time round I was not gonna get my third warning because that's the mistake I've learned from in PSGL round one. So as you can see right here, getting a bit loose on the exit, but I didn't want to take any risks on the track limits. Trying to stay as close as possible to Barry, because if I could just stay close to him, as you can see, he's trying to play a bit of a game to gain time on the track limits. But as you'll see here, I'm using my overtake. We're 3.5 turns back, but somehow I end up hitting him slightly.
Yo, Barry, what did you break so early, big man?
Obviously, I don't know why he broke so early. Obviously, I'm gonna get the lead now, but I knew probably not at the time, but now looking at it, I was gonna get a penalty. So we let Barry through once again, and let's try and go for a switchback and trying to get the lead back. This is our launch downs to try and overtake him. It's Max W Hamilton all over again in 2021, going around the outside of Barry Borman. I just even make contact, and Barry actually hits us off. We get a big mad, obviously because of contact, but it was probably going to be a rating hit anyway. Because if I would have reported Barry, then he would have just reported me back, and I would probably end up getting the penalty and not him. So yeah, I have to set it for P2 today. Barry Borman wins his second race as well of the season, and I'm happy with that. Second place, obviously last race round I got second place on track. I know the pace is there. We just need to, I don't know, get the last few laps a bit better than we used to be, and
Guy is so lucky, man.
getting a bit more lucky in round 3, which is going to be a USA. Driver of the day is River Pedrinho. I think he finished in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah,
Definitely done on purpose.
it was a good race. I enjoyed it. As you can see right here, River Pedrinho indeed got top 5 from P13. Maybe also a decent drive from Will Lewis from P17 to P9. So yeah, Barry Baldwin wins the race. We are gonna have to set up for second. Luke Smith running out the podium. Jake Benham just missing out on the podium, and Ruben Drino actually only 16,000 behind from Jake. Tom Manley, the other Avatari. Avatari is scoring good points this race. P5 and P6. Tomek P7, Wilson P8, Will P9, and then he had that running out the top 10. So that was it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao!